Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
100%. I agree with that. I think when it comes to education, when it comes to school, there's a lot of times where people aren't represented in the curriculum. And for me, I grew up Asian American. I'm Malaysian Chinese. And so, I mean, the closest thing I ever saw to representation for me was seeing Mulan on a Disney screen. And everything else in our literature and the things we read about were not aligned with who I was.
Yeah, it does look like, though, when you think about it, that Disney's going in the right direction, because they've started telling stories involving other cultures, like that one with Dwayne Johnson and the Polynesian one, and Moana, yeah. And they also did, let me think, there was another, they did one based on emotions, I believe, as well. So there's that, and I think there was something else. What did they do that was in another culture again? A movie that came out a couple years ago or whatever.
Encanto?
I think that's the one. Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to be diverse in their cultures, and I'm hoping that eventually Disney will. I'm hoping they'll start doing movies based on the indigenous people too around the world, whether in Australia, New Zealand, or America.
Yeah, and I think the way that they portray it is important, because a long time ago in the 90s, they did Pocahontas. However, I think the way that they portray certain cultures, it's important that they have very informed people creating it, so that it's very attuned to how people would believe or would go about their day-to-day life.
Yeah, they definitely need to consult with those communities, definitely, in making any sort of project,
For sure. Or even The Little Mermaid, the most recent Little Mermaid. That one was absolutely beautiful. And there was this caveat that was really interesting that I read that said that her grandfather was able to come to the showing of it. And historically, there was a lot of things that went on that within a certain amount of time, his granddaughter was able to rise to stardom. And he went through a lot of challenges growing up himself. So
that was great. And it was, there was a wonder by many people of why they were having an African-American, person play Ariel. And I don't see the problem in it, as long as you tell a good story, who cares what ethnicity the person is. And I think they got The Little Mermaid right. And I really like that they got Javier Bardem, a Spanish actor,
yes,
Triton. He did a very good version of Triton, I think. In his case, though, I sort of felt that Javier Bardem sort of was, even when his character was emotional, he seemed very chill compared to the original Triton.
Yes.
Like he seemed very chill, like he was trying to not be too yelling of Ariel when trying to, turn her to his hatred towards humans, but
I
you
agree.
could still see emotion behind his voice when the original Triton, was always like more yelling, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, that was a good movie, The Little Mermaid live action. And I think you would probably agree with this, but I really like that Disney are doing live action versions of the animated movies. And part of it is because, in my opinion, when you think about it, the live action movies are also answering questions that the original movie did not answer. Like,
Right.
in Beauty and the Beast, for example, people didn't know why Gaston was so popular, even though he was obviously a jerk, and a self
Mhm.
centered person. And the live action movie revealed that the reason why that was because Gaston was a former soldier in the French army that won a recent war. And so it would make sense that even if he was a jerk, that people would treat him with respect.
Exactly. Or the aspect of what happened to Belle's mom, or
Mm-hmm.
on top of it, too, a lot of the other live actions like Maleficent, like what that was her story, with Angelina Jolie, and how it was so different than how it was portrayed in the original.
Yeah, and The Little Mermaid also answered some unanswered questions because in the first Little Mermaid, they never revealed what the conflict was between Ursula and Triton. Because the reason why Ursula wanted Ariel in the first place was to put King Triton in a position where he would have to choose between running the kingdom or having his daughter be spared by giving the kingdom over to Ursula. They never explained what made them hate each other in the first place. And in the live action Little Mermaid, it's revealed that they were siblings and they had a falling out before
Correct.
Ariel was born. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they're answering questions that were left unanswered in the original movies, which is part of the reason why I think they're great. And the music's great. And yeah, it's just awesome.
I agree.
So, yeah, what are your hopes for the future?
That's a beautiful question, because I think nothing is ever promised to us, not tomorrow, not even the next second. So for me, I think what I look forward to the most in the future is continuing to help people in whatever capacity I can, specifically as a therapist, and um, loving on my two dogs, going to different events with pageantry, and really trying to destigmatize mental health as well as eating disorders, because I think people don't realize that aside from opioid um, abuse, that the second leading cause of a mental health condition is also an eating disorder, the fatality level. So people die from that quite easily. So if I can make an impact in any way, if I can not make, but if I can help someone feel less alone, even if it's just one person, then I feel like I have done my duty as not only a queen, but as a human being on this planet, to make the world just a little bit better for either one person or a ton of people.
Yep, have muscle coming in because I've been eating quite healthy. And I'm really glad that you're teaching about all that body neutrality because, you might have known already. I may have told you this before, or you may have seen my Facebook, but I was obese like no more than 3 years ago. I was over 300 pounds, and now I'm down to 190 or 189, somewhere between there.
That's amazing. You should be so proud of yourself.
I am proud. In fact, I have some people that I work with at my SACE program that I'm a part of, and
Mhm.
I'm always getting on them about eating healthier foods, like to the point where sometimes the clients at the program they'll start purposely bringing up their gushers or or their fruit roll-ups or candy just to exasperate me. Because yeah, it's I'm always ever since 2020 when I quit my soda addiction, I've always been about health and fitness. I've been riding my bike every day. Like I'm literally an athlete at this point and eating the right stuff. And so some people at SACE will sometimes take jabs at me, like offer me some unhealthy foods just to exasperate me.
But it's that reminder that you're in a place where you're able to be a good example of what
Yeah.
a healthy life looks like, what healthy movement looks like, and what it's like to pursue your dreams and to accomplish them.
Yeah, for sure. So you preach health and fitness too, right? Is that what you said?
Body neutrality.
Is that pretty much within that area, or what is that exactly?
So basically, body neutrality it goes in line with the body positivity movement, but it's more of the state because when I used to work with clients or patients within the eating disorder treatment facility, they couldn't get to a place of self-love within their bodies.
Okay.
So if you can't do that, you could be at least potentially neutral to who you are. And for me, I have struggled with my weight because of the medications I've been on for my whole life. And at one point, I lost, I think at my biggest, I was close to 500 pounds. I want to say 4 or something. And for me, I've slowly lost weight. And like, I got to really good shape right before I got married. But then when I got my gallbladder surgery, the way that my body functions is different. And then the different medications I had to change and be on cause other things.
Sorry you went through that. I went through similar stuff as well, because when I quit soda, I did start to lose weight, but it took like 3 years to get all this weight off me. And it's one of those things doctors tell you it's easy to gain weight, but it's harder to get the weight off you. So that's why you need to be careful with diet.
Exactly. And specifically, that's why I love the fact that there's this title for the pageant that I'm in. Because I won the Mrs. Woman of Achievement US Curvaceous one, and I think it's so inclusive and it's so beautiful, and it goes with my platform. The fact that you can have mental health challenges, you can have challenges with maybe disordered eating and so on and so forth, but you can still achieve. You can still make the world a better place, and you can still love the ones that you love. Like my husband is so encouraging. He's an athlete. He used to do Ironmans. He's helped me a lot with my journey. But it's just so important to take care of yourself.
It is. And it looks like you're doing a very good job of that. And, you're actually the first Malaysian person on the channel, by the way. So that's really, really cool. You're a cool guest.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
No problem. So my last question is, how can your journey impact the world?
I think with our life, we're like stones that are thrown into water. And there's this idea that when you throw a stone into water, there's ripples. And I feel like if I throw my life is a stone, and if I put all my effort into throwing this stone into the water, there will be a ripple effect. There will be a legacy. And I hope that my husband and I are able to do that because I feel like there's other passion projects. We help individuals who are visually impaired or have challenges with their vision surf. One special day a year, there's an event. It's called the Urban Surf for the Blind Surf event, and we help people surf. And then we help mentor young children and individuals who want to be in pageantry. And it's just the idea of that ripple effect, that if I can just reach one person, then maybe that person will reach 20 people. Then the other 20 people will reach another 20 people. And before you know it, everyone that is on this earth is impacted by that one maybe act of kindness or that one moment of just listening intently and not just hearing that person, but really hearing what they have to say and listening to their heart so they don't feel so alone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's really good. And I wish you luck in that.
Thank you so much.
So where can people find you?
I have 2 social media accounts on Instagram that I use at April, April, Nasoff, Nasoff, MSW, ASW. And then I have the Everybody Positive page, which is at everybody every underscore body underscore positive on Instagram, and the Everybody Positive on TikTok.
Good to hear. So everybody, let's thank April for appearing on the channel. Please hit like and subscribe and follow her social media platforms. And we'll see you next week for the next episode of RNU.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.